As you can see, Hamburg is not an unattractive city, but I do struggle to point to any particular landmark aside from the Rathaus, which is City Hall. It's the second tower you can see behind this first building, which is the Hauptbahnhof. And I think it's one of the most impressive train stations I've seen in Europe, actually. You can definitely see that Hanseatic influence here, and everyone I spoke to in Denmark mainly thinks of Hamburg as a place for theater. So here are some of the programs that are playing here. This is the dry gross. Oh, I missed it. But a Schauspielhaus is like an actor's playhouse, and this is like another list of programs that they have going on in the coming month. And then closer up, one thing I really like about the transparent side of Germany is price range is shown. So most things run 10 to 34 euros for tickets. I think that's quite reasonable. And here we have March. I think that it seems like Hamburg has a very high 1 or 2 day stay occupancy rate at hotels, and it's probably largely due to the productions that show here. And everything that would be important to tourists is in a pretty compact area, but for actual living, this city is quite spread out. I think you would call that low relief, in the sense that it's not really tall buildings outside of the absolute center. And once you get beyond this compact downtown zone, you are in not what I would call suburbia, but you would get to 2 to 5 story buildings for sure. And one thing that you'll note here if you ever visit is the red Hanseatic flags. I think that people from this city associate themselves with being Hanseatic first and German second, just based on the amount of flags I have seen indicating the league. It's more expensive here than Berlin, for sure, because we're in Western Germany now, and I think this is more of a financial center, which has an impact on consumer prices. And we're closer to the Netherlands, Denmark, France, other economic engines of Europe with higher costs of living and such, so that affects the pricing as well. I am just kind of wandering about a little bit because I am not meant to check in for another hour, although my bag is in the storage at the hostel. You will find that hostels are different from hotels. Typically they have check-in at 2 p.m. and sometimes 3 p.m. if it's more closely affiliated and resembling Hostling International hostels, because their model is to have people out and seeing the city as much as possible, or the sights generally. Also, I can see a pretty dramatic push upwards in the price of hostels compared to years ago when I was visiting several German towns where there are only 1 or 2 hostels. It's not uncommon to spend 24 or 25 euros a night now, which really surprised me for a dormitory kind of setup. But in the case of Germany, I can't really speak for other countries, but in the case of Germany, oh, I guess The Great Gatsby is playing here. In the case of Germany, there are laws that are designed to prevent price undercutting and some degree of protectionism. So a town might kind of work together to keep the prices a little bit high so as not to create this hyper-competitive atmosphere. I'm going to try to get you a little bit of a clip of the train station, the Hauptbahnhof, all in one, rather than split it apart. Although, very frequently I'm going to have to point the camera down. Very often in the last 10 years, classical music is played at places that have high rates of crime in an attempt to push the rate of crime down, because classical music does have the effect of decreasing crime and the types of activities people will do. The red castle is you can't see it here, but on the sign the red castle is the Hanseatic symbol. It's far less active now than it was earlier today. In the morning there was a lot of activity going on. I guess Philips built this station, and it appears to me that, at least in its current incarnation, this is really new, revamped. German trains and Swiss trains are noted for their efficiency, speed, timeliness, all those really rigid and high performance stereotypes, but I think they're mostly true. Anyway, this is a European and more specifically German train station. Thanks for watching. Bye.